Hi, my name is Artyom Poghosyan. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Britive, and I'm glad to be part of Technodo's Humans in the Cyber video interview series. I'll be going through a few questions on AI security and sharing my perspective. First question. AI agent interactions are expanding fast. What specific security blind spots do agent-to-agent and agent-to-tool communications expose today? The big blind spot is implicit trust between non-human actors. Agents call other agents and tools with almost no identity boundary or risk checks in between. That creates a few problems. One, invisible lateral movement. One compromised agent can quietly pivot through tools, plugins, and downstream agents. Another one is the unscoped tool access. Agents get broad API keys or roles just to make it work. So any prompt or upstream agent can abuse them. And poor telemetry. Logs show that AI did X via a tool Y, but not which upstream identity, prompt, or policy context actually drove the action. Until we treat every agent and tool call as a first-class identity transaction, those gaps stay wide open. Next question. Britive now manages AI agent identities from creation to retirement. What do you think about accountability and visibility in this new life cycle? Well, if agents are going to operate with real privileges, they need the same rigor as a human hire. Onboarding, role design, runtime, least privilege enforcement, access reviews, and clean offboarding. Lifecycle management means you can answer hard questions like who created this agent? What MCP tools and models does it use? Which data domains and tools is it allowed to touch? When was that last changed and by whom? With Britive, agent identity becomes observable and governable. You can tie every privileged action back to a specific agent, its owner, and an approved policy. And you can safely retire or rotate that identity without hunting down hard-coded secrets and ad hoc configurations. Next question. Insider threats often arise from privilege misuse. How do Britive's human-to-agent controls and authorization reduce insider threats in AI environments? Insiders today aren't just misusing their accounts. They're misusing powerful agents they can spin up or prompt. Britive reduces that risk by several controls. First, controlling which agents a user can invoke and what scopes they get, all via policy, not ad hoc configurations. Enforcing just-in-time, zero-standing privileges for both humans and agents, so sensitive access is temporary, approved, and tightly scoped. Attributing every agent action back to a human and a policy decision with full audit trails. And last but not least, human-in-the-loop controls, where we're inserting human approval steps in the AI agentic workflow when the action applies to a sensitive data, application, or a system. This combination shrinks the blast radius of abuse and dramatically raises the cost of quietly misusing an AI helper. Next question. How are threat actors exploiting interconnected AI agents in supply chains? What defense layers do they most often target? Well, attackers today go after the weakest, most interconnected link. Third-party agents, plugins, service counts, wired into AI workflows. We're seeing them target several things. For example, overprivileged connectors to SaaS, data platforms, and CI/CD pipelines, where one token can open up half the environment. Another scenario is the non-human accounts in ML ops pipelines, where agents fetch models, configs, and secrets with minimal oversight. Another scenario is loose plugin or extension ecosystems where an innocent tool can be swapped or poisoned to exfiltrate data. The defense is layered identity security. Strong attestation of every agent, least privileged roles across all hubs, continuous verification of tool calls and runtime detection when an AI supply chain suddenly behaves outside its normal pattern. Another question is, what turning points convince you that identity security should define the future of modern cyber defense? 3 things. Number 1 was that cloud broke the perimeter. Once apps and data moved out of the data center, inside versus outside stopped making any sense. Who you are and what you're allowed to do became the new perimeter. High-profile breaches started with credentials, not zero-day exploits. Over and over, we saw that stealing or abusing identity, a help-desk reset, a contractor account, an API key, was the simplest, most reliable entry point for attackers. And finally, AI made identity hyper-dynamic. Now every agent is both a user and an app, spinning up and down constantly. At that point, if identity security isn't your primary control plane, you're just hoping the network and endpoint layers catch what identity already allowed. Last question is, as attackers increasingly target credentials, how can defenders stop AI agents from requesting or enabling unauthorized access across SecOps workflows? You can't really rely on good prompts to keep agents honest. You need hard guardrails in the identity layer. Practically, this means agents never get long-lived credentials. They must request access through a platform like Britive, which issues scoped and time-bound permissions only. Every privileged action an agent wants to take goes through a policy decision point that checks context, user, agent, data, sensitivity, risk signals, and approvals. And SecOps tools exposed to agents enforce least privileged APIs. Perform this specific action on this ticket, not here's admin to the whole system. By forcing AI agents to operate inside the same controlled, auditable identity fabric as humans, you can let them automate SecOps without letting them quietly become the attacker's favorite accomplice. Thank you for listening.